Also, can we say how suspicious it was that Morning Sun's father butted in? I know he's probably had done something to the Melite's mother to try to keep her mouth shut. He knows that she probably lost her memories, but it's like, she's probably gonna remember what I done to her, and I need to keep her mouth shut. I need to get rid of her. Because if she marries the Melite's father and remembers who she is and informs the Melite's father of what he did to her, the Melite's father would go after him. So he has to shut her up. I know he probably did something to her. Because again, we heard how much of a bastard this man is. So he probably did do something to this poor girl. With the Melite's mother being kept somewhere, supposedly being experimented on and imprisoned, Mercy's maternal family uses this opportunity because she was actually supposed to be released. So they send a fake version of her to be released when in actuality she was being kept, experimented on, and imprisoned. And at this time she's actually pregnant with the Melite. So she's being experimented on and imprisoned and tortured while being pregnant. Sooner or later, their father discovers this while he was fighting in a battle and dies from heartbrokenness. He's literally so heartbroken, so heart-struck that the one he loved was being tortured and hurt that, he died on battle. After finding out her husband had died, Mercy's mother gives birth to Mercy earlier than she was supposed to because she was only 7 months pregnant with him. She's wholly heartbroken because she thought this man actually loved her. She was been led to believe, even though she had heard rumors, she still believed no one could compare to her and that her man loved her, especially since her man chose her at the end. She fully is convinced her man, her husband, loved her. And so she gives birth early. Though she does find out he never actually loved her back. And that fact that the only reason why he slept with her was because he was under the influence of drugs provided by her family. And so he was basically essayed, and she's basically essayed. They were both, in a way, essayed. It was not a great situation. And so she's heavily upset, especially when she finds the letters between him and Melite's mother. So she realizes she'd been a pawn in her family's games. So she goes and she harasses her family. And then she's furious at the Melite's mother and wants to give this woman a piece of her mind. She wants to physically harm this woman until she meets this woman who is, been harmed, hurt, every horrible way done to this woman, and realizes this woman was a pawn in this game of her family too, and realizes she needs to take this woman in. But instead of making this woman a concubine of her father, giving her the rightful position she should have had, she makes her a servant in her household, and specifically a slave. And knowing that this woman was also pregnant with her husband's child, instead of making sure this child was known as an illegitimate child of her husband, she makes this child a servant child. I am not kidding. I'm like, good for her to try to protect, and this, I guess, was her way of protecting the Melite and his mother from her family. But seriously, you're going to make the two people who suffered from your family into your servants? Like, this child was literally made a slave by your own son. Like, your son puts a slave collar on his own brother. Yeah. Since these are Mercy's memories, Mercy knew the Melite was his brother. His mother informed him of this. And instead of treating the Melite well all these years, he physically, emotionally, and mentally hurt and harmed the Melite because he feared one day the Melite would take his position away from him. I am not kidding. He was so suspicious of the Melite, he kept ruining his and the Melite's relationship. Also, his own mother put something on him, like a marker that will keep his mouth shut. If he informs anyone before he became an adult and the head of the family, he'd be severely punished over it. Like, it will harm him to keep his little mouth shut. Because again, it will probably bring harm to their family, bring harm to the Melite, and harm to his mother. Also, Mercy will keep his little mouth shut. If you're wondering who the Melite's bio mother is, it's actually his adopted mother, the woman who was taking care of him all his life, treated him well. Yes, that was his actual bio mom. I had suspicions it was, the way everything was acting out, I thought maybe she was actually his bio mom and not just his adopted mom. Either way, it was his mom. Either form, even if she was just his adopted mom, it would have been his mom. But yes, I was a little right about that, and I was a little excited about that. Also, the male lead had figured it out on his own. The male lead had forgotten about it because, again, his memories have been basically messed with and destroyed and scrambled. So he completely forgot it. But throughout his entire life, he investigated the truth and found out the truth, that he found out his real father was Mercy's father and who his mother was. Like, he knew the truth. Him and Mercy even got in a fight because he found their father's clothes and put on his father's clothes and was a little excited. Mercy found him and ripped him a new, telling him he will never be allowed to wear these clothes. He will never have that status or position. Basically destroyed his whole entire mental health in one go because he was afraid the male lead would strip him of his position one day or try to usurp him. Also, one of the last things the male lead's mother told him was to be kind and caring and supportive and always back up Mercy and his mother. Always be supportive, always protect them. No matter what they do to him, he always has to be kind. Which, woman, yes, they saved your life. Mercy's mom saved your guys' life and is the reason why the male lead was alive. But you and the male lead spend the rest of your days being treated like servants. Treated horribly, looked down upon, hated upon, scorned by the other servants. Mercy repeatedly, physically, emotionally, and mentally abuses the male lead, and the male lead is just like, I'll listen to you, mother. I'll take your words seriously. I will stand and protect these people. What, woman? You saw how this poor kid was being treated, and you tell him never to go against them? Just because this woman had saved your life and made sure the male lead could be birthed, that he has to spend the rest of his life being treated like horribly and never fought back? Like, what? What? That's a terrible advice to give your child. The male lead was arrested, but again, the Emperor knows the truth. The main character knows the truth, so he wasn't actually put in a prison cell. He was actually put in a nice cushion room where Yuming Lake will take care of him. But the main character's like, no, I'm taking him back home. And the Emperor's just like, well, and he's like, no, I'm taking him back home. The assassinator who attacked Mercy is still alive. He comes and finds the male lead and informs the male lead about the vow the main character and the Emperor took to protect the male lead's men, because again, the main character did not know the truth. And either way, the Emperor would never actually had harmed the male lead's men. But he did use this opportunity to put the main character under a vow with him. And once the male lead finds it out, he has a full-on mental breakdown. He loses completely control of his demonic powers. Again, he was already losing control, but he loses control big time. The Emperor and the main characters informed about this, and they rush to the male lead side. The male lead goes full-on deranged. And when the main character gets to his side, he doesn't see the main character, but sees the Emperor and physically harms and attacks the main character, screaming bloody murder, screaming about all the things he's done for this country, only to find out the one he loves has taken the vow. Luckily, the main character is able to awake the male lead from his state and calm the male lead down, and they have a bit of a little conversation. It's really sweet of a moment, but it was also very stressing. And I was like, get your hands off your husband before you kill your husband. No more physically harm towards your husband. Like, I was fearing for both of them, mostly for the main character, his physical health, and the male lead for his mental health. Like, if he woke up and found out he had harmed his husband, he would break down more. Like, they're both just having this moment with each other. Well, I'm just in Tormallow. I was like, dang, can we not have this moment, Mate Bun? Please, can we not have this? But yes, it was such a lot. And now I need to know who that assassinator is. But I think that assassinator, whoever he's working for, and I think the person he's working for is Evening Snow. I don't know why, but I don't trust Evening Snow as far as I can throw him. Or it was Crane. He's working for Crane or Evening Snow, but it's one of those two.